So right from the very beginning, even before Brexit, everyone was basically saying, look, you are not going to get as good a trade deals as you are now. This has been something that a lot of countries have been very consistent on this. None so more, in fact, than Japan. Indeed, look at what the Japanese UK ambassador has recently just said. Britain will not get a Brexit deal better than the current single market, Japan's ambassador to the UK has said. Koji Tsuruoka, I think that's how you say it, who took up the role just a fortnight before the referendum, says that Japanese firms are watching negotiations and will continue to be located in the single market after next March. Car makers such as Nissan and Toyota have said that they will move if necessary. So Mr. Tsuruoka told The Observer the reason that so many of these companies have come here is because it is the best gateway to Europe. And this is one of the big advantages that, again, unfortunately wasn't really sold. And, and he also says, says that Japan has a really high stake in the Brexit negotiations. 40% of Japanese investment into the EU is spent in the UK. So if the UK is not profitable, they won't invest in the UK. Simple as that. And they've already said they don't want to invest in this. They've been very consistent on this, over and over again on this. And I've told people this again and again. When it comes to these negotiations, the UK is a lot weaker than you seem to be claiming it is. So the ambassador also said that he did not have to worry about the result of Britain's referendum, because British people don't make adventurous decisions. Now I have to keep in mind that you don't predict what is going to happen in the UK, he told the paper. So now, basically, Japan have said, we don't care now what happens in the UK, because you're no longer our top priority anymore. You're not valuable. And if this is, bear in mind, this is Japan's reaction, and I've constantly said I've gone out of my way to try and find on this channel and put out what these other ambassadors are saying about Brexit. It's all the same. None of them have said Brexit is a good idea and that they're looking forward to a bright and prosperous future. They've all just said, yeah, whatever. Because that's the UK now. We've become an international laughingstock. So, and remember this, by the way, people like Japan, Australia, again, our good trading partners, these amazing trading partners that we want to apparently trade with, are still want to form the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is based entirely on the model of the EU. So while we are, sailing off into Nowheresville, all these other countries around the world are forming blocs similar to the EU. Why? Because they are stronger collectively together to negotiate better trade deals than they are individually. It's not that hard to work out, but, that's it. So, there you go, people. I'm at this point where I'm just running out of stuff to say, because this is all reported in the news on a daily basis on here. Believe it or not, as I've said to people, Brexit very rarely makes any front pages, post the actual referendum result, has made any major headlines on the continent. or even around the world. Because these other countries do not care that we are leaving the EU. That's the reality of it. We are not this major economic player that a lot of people claim we are. We were far better in the EU than we were, well, now than we were going to get out of it, and who knows what's going to happen there. So, yeah, it's just ludicrous. I'm repeating myself at this point, but this is the level of frustration we get to, because people have not understood the situation of the UK, why it joined the bloc in the first place, why it went through with all these changes, why these changes were done in the first place. People don't understand the EU in general, to a point that someone sent me a message today that, how do the Commission get elected? Well, they're elected by the MEPs, the members of the European Parliament. They can also be unelected by the MEPs as well. And we have the same number of MEPs as France, Germany, and all the other EU countries. This isn't, rocket science. But, it's very easy information to find out. But the problem is one of the things I've been saying on this channel for a while now, is that the EU has been the best scapegoat for UK politicians, because rather than, accept that it's the government responsibility, which is the vast majority of problems in this country at the moment, they've basically turned around and gone, oh, it's not our fault, it's the EU's fault. And when the EU has done something good, it has never been celebrated by the politicians. Whenever something bad gets done, it's, ooh, that damn EU. And then they fail to realise that actually, we can do something about it. If the fishermen of the UK wanted a better deal, then what they needed to do was actually lobby, get a better representative for them than Nigel Farage. Because here's the thing, Nigel Farage could have been at all these meetings that he didn't attend, arguing the case for British fishermen. And he could have voted 3 times, but didn't turn up for the votes, to actually make the UK's voice heard in this case. Voting matters. Especially if you're someone like Nigel Farage. I always say, if you're a fisherman out there, and imagine your local MP, basically just didn't turn up for a vote for something. And it was an important matter. How are you meant to you'd be angry. So you should be angry at the person who has continually ignored you for years and more used you as a gaming chip for political gain more than anything else. But, they're taken in just as everybody else is by his ludicrous anti-bullshit propaganda. But, yeah. Yeah, there we go. I can talk about this stuff for hours, but yeah, there we go.